Welcome to the Empowerment Shift podcast. I'm your host, Bojan Dobrev, and I'm here to help you unlock greater levels of awareness, clarity, and empowerment. In each episode, we'll dive into inspiring stories and higher perspectives to help you break free from limiting beliefs so you can navigate challenges with grace and step into a life of alignment and empowerment. Ready to make the shift? Let's get started. Recently, I was doing a coaching session with a client of mine who had been suffering from depression for quite a few years. He also had a bunch of symptoms, and it all started years ago when he made a certain decision to do a medical procedure with a certain doctor. And obviously things didn't go well, and he started blaming himself. He was blaming himself for making that decision, for choosing that doctor, for not finding another doctor or another solution. And this self-blame and self-judgment just got worse and worse and worse. So he was living in this really tough spot where he didn't see a way out. And when I asked him to tune into his body, he mentioned that he feels this strong sense of resistance in his solar plexus. So then I got him to connect with it, to really feel it. We did some tapping to release some of that resistance, but the intensity only dropped in half. So then I asked him, what is still there? Why is there still resistance in you? And he said, well, first of all, I have this feeling that the resistance gives me power. And secondly, because I have to punish myself. So I asked him, why do you have to punish yourself? He says, I have to punish myself so that I don't make the same mistake again. And I said, okay. What would happen when you were a child and you would make a mistake? And he goes, well, my parents would punish me. I said, exactly. So you're repeating that pattern, and in the absence of your parents, you are taking on the job of your parents in punishing yourself. And I said that is one way of operating. That is one way of raising children. You can raise children through punishment. You can raise children through encouragement. One is based on love. The other one isn't. Would you agree? And he said yes. I went on to share with him that if you have a certain memory in the past without emotional attachment, then that is wisdom. This is something that Joe Dispenza talks about. So when you look at the past and you analyze what happened and what lessons you learned from it, then you're no longer a victim to that memory, to that event, because you took away the lessons. You're like, oh, that was actually not such a bad thing after all, because I learned these valuable lessons. And in fact, our soul, one of the reasons why we're here on this planet is to learn virtues and lessons. So if, let's say, your soul wants to learn what it's like to forgive and to accept, whether it's yourself or someone else, then one of the easiest ways would be to experience something that then gives us the opportunity to accept and to forgive, if we're capable. Maybe that's not going to happen from the first time, but at some point our soul will be like, wait, this is a repeating pattern. This time I'm going to accept, I'm going to forgive, I'm going to see it from a different angle. And so I helped him to see it from a different angle. I said, what if that mistake had to happen so you started to embrace that decision and the fact that at the time you thought that was the best decision. You did the best you could with what you knew, with what you had, and so did the doctor. And if you accept, then that opens up the healing potential. That opens up an energy of transformation for the depression to start to shift and to ease, for the physical symptoms he had to start to ease off. Because at the end of the day, these are just messages from our soul. Our soul is saying that something isn't right, something doesn't resonate. We have this illusion about something, about a situation or a person that may not be true. Maybe it's just a story in our head. And he would confirm that in the past he has had physical pains where actually there wasn't a real problem, but he was hallucinating or envisioning or imagining that there was a problem, and that just by changing his thoughts, the physical problem would go away. So I gave him the suggestion subconsciously that he can avoid making mistakes in the future not through punishing himself, but through wisdom and through love and through awareness. By taking these lessons from the past, he's effectively shifting those patterns. If something keeps repeating itself, it's because you have not found out what the lesson in it is, that you have not collected the virtues. And so your soul, in collaboration with this divine intelligence, is giving you this opportunity to grow spiritually, to evolve on a soul level. And that is one of the richest experiences our soul can have on this planet. So the key takeaway in this video is, what is there to learn in this challenge that you may be facing? What virtue is your soul trying to master? Is it acceptance? Is it forgiveness? Is it compassion? Is it patience? Is it something else? And then sort of embrace that situation or that event without feeling a victim to it. When you embrace it and you collect those lessons, you become a creator, and you start to feel perhaps even gratitude that it happened. A lot of times when people experience something horrible, supposedly, such as losing a job or a breakup, it can be the biggest thing for that person. It can be the biggest catalyst for change. It is often what triggers a spiritual awakening in people. So in that moment, instead of resisting what happened, try to have an attitude of observation. You just observe, like, interesting, this thing happened. All right, this is something really horrible and negative, but what could be the upside? What could be the benefit in this? What is the lesson in this whole situation? Is there a virtue I'm mastering? And so when you look at it from that perspective, you shift away from victimhood into empowerment, and everything changes. So if you found this useful, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning in to the Empowerment Shift podcast. Remember, every shift in awareness is a foundation for powerful change. If this episode sparked something within you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend who could use a shift too. And please leave a review so we can spread this message of empowerment further. Together, let's create a ripple effect of transformation. Until next time, keep making those shifts, stay connected, and stay empowered.